Bible Answers with Dr. Al Garza.
All right, welcome back to Bible Answers. I want to address a question that I've been getting a number of times in email regarding the distinctions between what's mentioned in the New Testament as a Greek and a Gentile. There seems to be some confusion. Many people think that they're the same. So when the scriptures mention Greeks in the New Testament or Greek, they're referring to Gentiles, and that is further from the truth. There is a clear distinction in the Gospels, in Gospel of John, in the book of Acts written by Luke, and of course, from Paul writing in his letters. The thing we got to understand is that when we refer to the Greeks in the New Testament, it's referring to Greek-speaking Jews, the Hellenistic Jews. When it says a Jew, it's referring to the Hebrew Jews. And of course, the Gentiles are those from among the nations. Now, how can we show this? How can we prove this from the New Testament? It's not that difficult. First off, when you read the Gospel of John and Jesus is talking to the religious leaders, letting them know that he's going to soon be gone, departing, and he's going to be leaving, the Jewish leaders think he's going to go and teach the Hellenists, the Greeks. Of course, they're talking about the Greek-speaking Jews, not the Gentiles. And I'll prove this in the book of Acts. There's a clear distinction being made here because remember, the Gentiles are those of the uncircumcised, those from among the nations. Greeks in the New Testament, when it's referring to, is referring to those who were the Hellenistic Jews, those that were, outside the, of course they lived within Israel, but they also pretty much lived outside the Judean desert. And of course the Jews, the Hebrew-speaking Jews. Now you see a clear distinction in Acts chapter 6, verse 1, where there was a dispute between the Hebrew Jews, as one translation puts it, and the Greek Jews. That's the first time you have a clear distinction. Now, why do I say that Greek equals Greek Jew? Because remember, Acts chapter 6, they were together and they were disputing. They were already involved with each other. They were already, having, a ministry together. And if they were Gentiles or they were of the nations, they wouldn't be in association with them at that time. Not that early, because remember, Peter himself in Acts 9:10 gets a vision from God to go to Cornelius, and he tells Cornelius, how it's forbidden for a Jew to enter the house of a Gentile, to an uncircumcised. And there was already distinction being made there that Jews weren't to associate with the Gentiles until God showed Peter a vision. So in Acts 6, these are Greek Jews, as most translations will put it, and then you have the Gentiles in Acts 9 and 10. So then you have in Acts 11, Greeks, Hellenists, being called Christians for the first time. These are not Gentiles. These are Greeks, the Greek-speaking Jews. Because you remember, Paul in Acts 13 then proclaimed salvation to the Gentiles, to the nations. That was one of the first times that was proclaimed. So that couldn't be so if they were already Gentiles or Greeks, if they were the same, if that was happening earlier. So whenever you see a distinction of Greeks, think Greek Jews. When you see Gentiles, those uncircumcised from among the nations who have no affiliation with the Jews or the Greek Jews. And of course, when it just says Jews, it's referring to the Hebrew Jews. This is how you got to understand when you read the New Testament. Greek does not equal Gentile. It equals Greek Jew. So there should be no confusion. Whenever you read, whenever you read the word Greek or Hellenist, it refers to the Greek Jews. This is why Paul says to the Jew first and to the Hellenist, to the Greek Jew. The Gentiles were considered at that time uncircumcised and unclean until Acts 9 and 10, when God basically had to have command Peter to go to Cornelius to, for the first time, enter the house of an uncircumcised, of a Gentile. So this is why you have Paul making distinctions between a Greek and a Gentile in a number of his letters. This is why Gentiles are called uncircumcised. They have no affiliation with the religious Greek Jews or the Hebrew Jews. So there's a clear distinction here. There seems to be some confusion on this. So this is how we know there were Greek Jews and Hebrew Jews associating from Acts chapter 6, and then of course the Gentiles coming in. So the first Christians in Acts 11 were not Gentiles. They were the Greek Jews first being proclaimed Christians, followers of Christ, the Messiah. And then you have Paul proclaiming salvation to the Gentiles in Acts 13, verse 47. So make this distinction clear when you're reading the scriptures. Whenever you see these words, Greek and Gentile and Jew, know that Jew equals Hebrew Jew, Greek equals Greek Jew, and Gentile equals the nations, those outside of that, uncircumcised. So I hope this helps. This is a short video making a clear distinction on this. So if you have any questions, please ask them here. But we need to make these clear distinctions in scriptures. They are not the same. A Greek and a Gentile are not the same. So again, please like, subscribe, and share. Questions and comments, email them to me or leave them here. But I hope this does help make some clear distinctions and clears a lot of things up with some of the emails I'm getting. So again, thank you for tuning in and subscribing. My name is Dr. Al Garza, and this is Bible Answers. Thank you and have a great day.
Bible Answers with Dr. Al Garza.